All right, AI is considered both ubiquitous and a buzzword, but what happens to buzzwords? They tend to fade. So, how do we ensure AI goes beyond the hype and remains a lasting force? The following panelists will debate just that. On stage will be Dimitris Lioulias, Chief Strategy and AI Officer from DO, Simon Uziwek, VP Business Growth and Strategy, Middle East and Africa, Comarch, Yasmin Rifai, Public Sector AI and Digital Transformation Expert, David Ehrlich, Director Business Consulting, Sofrecom, Kenan Jarrah, Senior Product Manager, AIOP's Mycom. And our moderator will be Ahmed Riyad, Senior Director, Strategy and Industry Development, Huawei. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
So it's great to be here. And of course, thanks to Telecom Review and thanks to Tony and everyone from Telecom Review. And let me ask you a question. There was two words that every single speaker in this whole summit said on this stage. Every single speaker in every session mentioned those two words. Artificial intelligence, exactly. This is the most frequently used two words on this stage during this Telecom Review Summit. Of course, the second most used two words were Tony Aid for sure. But this session is about AI. And it's very interesting because when we talk about AI, there's always this question, is it an overhype? Or is it exactly getting to fulfill the promise that we think it will do in terms of the fundamental transformation? And even some people would say, actually, it's an underhype. It will give an even much more fundamental transformation and change for what's going to happen in the whole industry. And I think this panel is exactly about that, about the artificial intelligence beyond the hype. What is the practical implementation of it, operational-wise? What have been used in operators in different consultancy companies with public sector experts in this panel? And this is the whole discussion is going to be about. So the discussion is going to have two rounds. One round, we're going to explore with the speakers and experts the strategic overview of the discussion on AI. Is it beyond the hype? Is it overhyped? What's the reality of it? And the second round, we're going to go a little bit deeper in terms of the operational aspect of it, some concrete examples. And if we have time, we might have one or two questions from the audience. So let me start, but maybe before we start the first round of questions, we can start with a very quick introduction for yourself, for each of you, maybe like 30 seconds or 1 minute max in what you do in your business and your affiliation. So please. Sorry, David.
Okay. So I'm David Ehrlich. I'm working for Sofrecom. Sofrecom is a subsidiary of Orange, which is a consulting firm concentrated on supporting operators in all their activities. So we are working in AI through dedicated practices for a while. In general terms, here we can see a little bit more because we are a sponsor of this event and we are somewhere in the nearby. We just also to mention that we support also here DO through a program which is called Orange Alliance, to which we bring the expertise of the Orange Group to operators who are joining this program.
Thank you very much, David. Dimitris?
Hello, everyone. My name is Dimitris Lioulias. I'm a Chief Strategy Officer of DO. I'm sure everybody here knows DO. Hopefully, most of you have DO in your pockets. My role is to develop the strategy of the company and push for its execution. But as an industry veteran of more than 20 years, the most important point of discussion is the new hype, is AI. We have been around a few of them. Some of them materialized into something meaningful, some of them less so. Let's see what we think about AI.
Great.
So I'm Simon Uczciwek. In free translation, it is honest man. I represent Comarch as VP of Business Growth and Strategy in MEA region. I would love not to have to introduce what Comarch is, but after 30 years in the market, but maybe I will say a couple of words about that. So we deliver software products for telecommunication sector, mainly in three areas. First one, OSS products, which are focused mainly to support autonomous network initiatives. Composable BSS tools to address some specific or some problems, needs on the market with set of products which can combine in in one set, and combination of that, which is quite emerging on the market, which is a critical communication, where you need a software product to support that from both business part, but also from operations.
Thank you very much, Simon. Yasmin,
And I didn't say AI in my introduction, so this is why I'm.
but you're going to say it in the
improving
panel, so still applies. Yeah, Yasmin, please.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. First, thank you for the invitation. It's good to see a lot of people are still left at the end of the sessions. I'm Yasmin Rifai. I'm the CTO for the public sector in Microsoft Kuwait. Over 15 years, I've been working with the government leaders on their national transformation and now recently on their national AI agenda. From software engineering to consulting and latest at Microsoft, I've been working on designing and scaling transformation. It's a pleasure again to be here. Thank you.
Thanks, Yasmin. It's great to have a public sector as well perspective in this discussion. And Kenan, please.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for having me on this panel. My name is Kenan Jarrah, and my role in Mycom, actually, it's about managing all the two famous word AI products, which is actually Mycom. It's a software company provider, mainly focusing on leveraging, focusing on the network and services assurance, leveraging the data and AI protocol stack. I've been in the AI for telecom since the early stage, 2017. And today we will discuss a little bit about how the network evolved for the AI and what is the agentic AI and the automation.
Thanks. I'm going to talk a lot about that, by the way, in the second round.
Yeah.
So maybe let's start the first round, which is about strategic vision and the overall view. And since everyone has a Do phone in his pocket right now, as you said, Dimitri, so I'll start with you. So the question is, as we move towards AI-first ecosystems, we heard this sentence a lot. How is Do prioritizing which business area to convert first? And how do you balance between the immediate need for efficiency against the long-term vision of AI transformation?
That's a very good question, especially because when we talk about AI today, and everybody does, the expectations can be huge. One quite a well-known report on the industry talks about 8 to 10 percentage points EBITDA improvements as a result of AI for a telco. Amazing. Where do I sign up for that, right? The reality that we see is, on one hand, maybe, probably, those benefits will materialize at some point in time. We are not there yet. We are not close to that yet. And when we try to identify the areas of focus for us, and the question of AI first is very important, because we don't see AI as something you put onto a process that works or that doesn't work, and magically everything will be much, much better. So when we talk about AI first, we want to see at end-to-end processes. We want to look at end-to-end journeys that we have to redesign with AI in mind. We believe that this is the kind of approach that will deliver the results that our boards expect from us. There are a couple of areas that we believe are the more interesting ones to apply AI. We do have customer experience as one of these, the first area where we invest, and we're working to ensure that as we digitalize all our stack and as we redefine how we go about our business, we do so with AI in mind. The second area, and very important, of course, is the network. We see many improvements when it comes to operations, when it comes to cost, when it comes to optimization of CapEx. And of course, we are looking at commercial areas where, by introducing AI and allowing AI to support decisions, we will be able to address the customer in a more targeted way. Mm-hmm. So these are the three areas where we focus on.
Okay, great. I mean, thanks for this kind of classification and segmentation. It makes it much clearer. And you mentioned about growth as one of the areas. So I'll go to Simon maybe, talking about growth. So everyone is looking for growth apparently. And from your perspective, where does AI offer the most tangible potential to create new ARPO when you talk about like right now, not in the long-term future? Is it through hyper-personalization, for example, or is it through more new B2B revenue streams emerging from your experience?
Yeah, this is a very valid question from the perspective of AI use cases and business expectations. When we think about AI and where we started with AI, were use cases when we have seen impact on productivity. So we started automating processes, as you said. This is one of the areas you would like to see AI implementation. So the focus was rather on productivity increase and some cost cuttings, but it is of course not something which impacts directly revenue. So especially in telco, when we talk about average revenue per user, when we talk about this business, product managers, so the people who are responsible for creating new offers, of course they utilize AI. There is a lot of analysis which must be done, and they are supported by AI. They challenge their offers with AI. So the first use cases where we implemented AI in our BSS solutions, I will go to the more technical part, were CRM and product catalog. And B2B is a nice example, I think, when it comes to utilization of AI and in context of revenue increase. When we talk about B2B, the offering is much complex than for residential customers. We can think even about the offer as a small project. So to prepare the offer and then execute, we have to verify a lot of, verify technology, if it is capable to deliver. We have formal aspects, and then when everything is agreed, we need to also prepare execution plan. And in product catalog, it took days, weeks to prepare that offering. With AI assistants and agents, it is possible to verify that, of course, having all information about the offering and technological support, we can prepare that in minutes. And the same is to prepare some execution plan, so it is much faster. And this is touching very important aspect for business growth, which is time to market. If you would like to attack or to attract or to win B2B business contracts, we need to respond fast, and we have to execute fast. And this is one example when AI can help. The second example where we can see support is intent-based offering or intent-based ordering. When we have customer on a call or customer interacts with any other channel, we can easily, or he can easily say what he's needing. So what is his need? Sometimes it is in context of some claim, yeah? And having access to his activity data, usage data, like all data related to the offering we have, network data, issues he has, it is easy to even this complaining customer to convert the customer who can be attracted with other offer, more adjusted to his needs, and probably even more expensive. So this is the second example where AI can be very helpful in building a new business. But we must remember that to make it happen, we need to have very solid integrated data about customers. I mentioned this data, like usage data, activity data, issues data, network data, all data available to automatically respond properly to the customer need. In this particular cases, AI will not fix bad data. So to really benefit from AI, we need to have very solid information about our customers. And for example, I think I will bring some example about some solutions. So at Orange, we built a very multi-vendor, multi-layer network inventory with orchestration on FTTX. And it is possible to provision the customer in minutes. So only with this kind of solution, you can think about utilizing AI scenarios because you have all foundations which is utilized for that automation, because it is easily automation.
Great, so great examples. You already went into the concrete examples now. That's great. And mentioning Orange, and we have also do mention some examples regarding the EBITDA and the growth and productivity. Maybe I'll go to David, because I mean in Sofrecom you have a very unique view across multiple operators. So my question is related to that. When assessing an AI hype, which business areas are actually ripe for conversion today, versus or where do you see the biggest gap between the reality and the ambition or the hype, if I would call it?
Okay, thank you for asking me. Really, the most mature use case and the one which is by far emerging as a majority in terms of benefits is obviously customer value management, CVM, where really we moved through a transition where we started, because it's the oldest case, we started with more clustering techniques, stochastic techniques, to machine learning, which, let's say, forced operators to reorganize themselves around machine learning, to now, as perspective, to introduce agentic, which enables to enrich the value, enrich the data, enrich the information you can gather to do CVM. But CVM brings value, and we increase ever the value of CVM with the next best offering, which is positive impact on churn. The business case is really straightforward. Second area, which is also becoming increasingly developed, is really everything which is linked to operations, network operations. For instance, Sofrecom, we have developed an offering around mobile network monitoring using agentic. So it really works. You are able really to gather information which can be some information stored on racks, real-time tickets, and other knowledge database together to support the NOC employees really to determine what can be root cause and to do other actions. You have also everything which is linked to agents, sales agents, which can really get information because big operators have an issue with their huge offer catalogs. They have a lot of old offering, and the matrix, competitivity matrix, is very complex. So instead of having fixed templates, which can be cumbersome to update, LLMs can give you results. And also they are in control environment. They don't go in front of the customer. They go in front of agents which can get control. And last but not least, one thing which is very useful is the literacy of your workforce. Because we have, for instance, Orange has put in place a tool called Dino2, which is a control environment for LLM usage of employees. So they don't have the shadow IT, and they do it themselves, and we can go through capitalization internally. What is a little bit far ahead is probably monetization. Monetization is a little bit difficult. It's even difficult for pure players, for operators. It's difficult to have AI direct monetization, AI as a product. Other thing which is a little bit far ahead, I think, is complete automation, level 5 automation. For reasons which are coming also from that with AI, you don't get an explicit rule of what we are doing. So it's very difficult to give control to a machine where you don't know exactly what are the grounds and what are the mechanisms which are conducting to one action or to another. So it's kind of philosophical question, very interesting for AI to see how use it for decisions.
But you think we're going to get there to this part that is still a little like monetization, things that is still far ahead? You think we're going to get there soon, huh? Or still it's very hard?
Yeah, monetization, direct monetization is something which is, give you an example, Orange Business Services offering Dino2 as a commercialized Dino2 as a product to enterprise, which is helps to enterprise to use LLM for their own employees. But it's not a game changer in terms of revenue. It will not change completely the rule of the game. So today, we are more in a, let's say, evolution of a situation than something totally different. There are opportunities such as GPU as a service, but it's costly, and the ecosystem of AI is not completely stable as far as data center GPU is concerned. So are operators the right to invest right now in GPU as a service? It can be a question.
Great. So we're still in the evolution, optimization, not the revolution yet. We're going to talk about this, I'm sure. So maybe after these views from private sector, I'll go to Yasmin. I mean, as working from Microsoft for public sector and working a lot with governments, my question would be, how does AI conversion shift when we look at the public sector? I mean, as government go for their digital transformation, for AI transformation, are they demanding different capabilities from telcos compared to private sector, or it's the same?
Yeah, absolutely. In the public sector, the conversation is not about technology. It's about national transformation and nation building. So when the governments adopt AI, it's not about optimizing like one single function. It's about reimagining how services are delivered at scale, securely and ethically. And that's why also we are seeing that telcos and tech providers are asked to be more strategic partners for the government rather than only providing infrastructure. If we look at the Middle East, we are witnessing multiple, I would say globally, would be referencing how private and public sector would collaborate with these strategic partnerships that we keep witnessing and being announced on a regular basis. And I think that's why Middle East is now leading the AI era in a way, or in this specific aspect when it comes to public and private collaborations. For example, in Kuwait specifically, I had the privilege of leading the strategic partnership between Microsoft and the government of Kuwait, where it became the national foundation for the national AI transformation. And that's where the strategic partnership between tech providers, hyperscalers, and industry leaders are becoming like fundamental and essential to achieve the national visions in the Middle East, if you consider the Middle East, and their long-term objectives, which is way different than traditional transactional enterprise deployments that we used to have before.
Great. So see it more as an ecosystem rather than a transactional one-to-one, like enterprise to government kind of thing.
Exactly. Like these strategic partnerships are created to fulfill and to create. They're co-designing the AI ecosystem and the nation to achieve the nation building, including talent, skilling, and all the aspects that we need to achieve this national transformation.
Yeah, clear. Thank you very much.
Ahmed, if I may add something to this. And I totally agree with you, Yasmin. The AI results, when we're looking at it at the national level, is not the responsibility of one entity. And as telcos, we have a very important role to play here. For one thing, we need to develop the infrastructure that will move the data from X location to Y location, from one data center to another data center, submarine cables that will take the data outside of the country, and so on. So that is a given, and this is our traditional role, and we'll continue playing it, and we'll continue investing in that role. But what we see as well, and I think David touched upon it, we do see, especially in our region, where there is very high aspiration when it comes to AI, very significant investments regarding AI, and we are in an environment where sovereignty is very well protected. We see the national operators as a natural partner. And I talk about partner, I don't talk about the provider or a vendor, where with the investments you can make on data centers, on GPUs, on platforms, on a big part of the AI stack to support in a sovereign way what the governments are trying to do, I see a very big role for cooperation and for partnership between the operators, the governments, and other players as well. Hyperscalers will have a role to play as well. The model providers will have a role to play as well. But I see telcos, especially in our part of the world, a fundamental part of the
This
success.
ecosystem or this partnership, holistic partnership, you can say.
Correct.
Yeah, great. So, I mean, I think we talked about strategies and partnerships and the ecosystem, but at the end of the day, if I go to Kenan, I mean, strategy relies on the network at the end. Like, we're talking about infrastructure at the end to support all that. So, my question to you is, I mean, when you talk about this deployment, large-scale AI monetization strategies, so in what ways our underlying network design evolve in this direction? Are current networks ready to support the demand of AI-first ecosystems?
Yes, Ahmed. So speaking about the network design, TM Forum in their ODA, Open Digital Architecture, they specified that the network design should evolve to be something they call it AI native, not AI enabled. What does it mean? It means like you need to embed the AI operation and capability inside all the network function, network components. Now, they emphasized on two pillars to enable this AI native networks, which is the first one is the data foundation, and everyone is speaking about data foundation, but data foundations mean enabling all the feature of real-time data streaming, data quality check, data preparation, data correlation, aggregation, everything about the data and prepare it to make it available for the higher layer and the AI layer. And the second pillar, they focused on how to move the network to sync and autonomously act and perform a specific action autonomously. Now, in this also, they specify the journey of enabling the AI to move toward autonomous network, and they make it simple. It's 4 functional blocks. First of all, you need to make the network aware, which they call it awareness, then the analytics, then the decision, then the execution. So it's 4 functional blocks, and AI should be embedded inside each of these blocks. Now, in Mycom, on top of the AI native things, we think as well, there is should be a bigger layer on the network, which could be a brain of the network, or could be some a supervision layer of the AI, which should look for all AI native components, because it's need to orchestrate end to end, and this will work hand to hand with the fulfillment engine to orchestrate all the actions and activity, which is inside the AI native component to achieve a thing. Now, the question is the network ready? I think we can say it's partially ready, right? And it's evolving. Now, for example, when we talked about this for a functional block, now operators are able to do awareness through AI, right? They can use forecasting, anomaly detection, all of this kind of machine learning is available now. They can start building these use cases also for the analytic and root cause and correlation. And the decision now, there is a specific agents which do correlation, which is it's in production and it's available now for the operator to start. Is this taking me to the full autonomy? Not yet. It's the next step is to enable this reasoning and thinking of the network and start taking autonomously an action. Like, for example, I need to prioritize the video traffic in this area because I have an event. This is all happen automatically, and AI takes the decision and do that. This is how it's going to be evolved, and this is where it's going.
If I want to be a little bit annoying and go a little bit deeper in that, my question is, do you think it's more of an AI strategy first or infrastructure upgrade or fundamentally shift first? Which one do you look at?
It's always about the strategy, because what you need to achieve, it should be applied on the infrastructure later on. Yeah.
So you start with the decision, and then you say what's the requirements from the...
Exactly.
That's a great, I would say, holistic ending to the first round on the strategic view. And maybe if I go into a little bit more concrete examples, Yasmin, you mentioned skills actually in the public sector. So I'll take this and ask Dimitris from private sector regarding the workforce now. When we talk about integrating AI tools like copilots, it's actually a major culture shift. It's technological shift, but also culture shift. So how are you approaching this in Do to ensure enterprise productivity, efficiency, and also how are the teams adapting?
One thing we said at Do when it comes to AI, we said we have to train everyone from the office boy to the CEO. And what we have done in the last year is create courses, training opportunities for entry-level awareness of everyone regarding AI. There are We heard it in the other panels as well. Fear of AI is taking my job, all the way to AI will kill us all. So we have to inform people and make people aware of what AI does and how it helps you be more productive. So we create an awareness level development and learning. We created specific learning paths together with a number of our vendors and partners for people who use AI in their day-to-day job, and they have to be more of experts in AI, and also all the way to the executive team. We are going through AI-related courses to ensure that there is a very good understanding at all levels of what AI means. As we're saying before, the strategic level, all the way down to how does it impact my day-to-day and how it can help me. So the cultural resistance is something new, it's something very big. It's always going to be there. We do see most of our people very eager to embrace it, very curious about it and how we can use it. At the time when we didn't have copilots in the company, many people were already well aware and familiar with how to use AI tools because they were doing it on their own, not with company data, but with their own data and with their own in their own time. And we do see that this impetus to do more with AI and be more educated with AI is really helping how we move ahead with it.
I see. Very clear. So, Simon, you mentioned in your first intervention about the different, like, predictive, analytical, different examples of deploying AI. So my question more is the predictive one. In the topic of predictive maintenance and network design, what are the key challenges that you see in integrating these AI models before large-scale deployment? How do we ensure reliability of these models?
Yeah, so if I understand correctly, the question is about reliability and if AI use cases are sufficient for complex network operations. Dimitrios said about quite important aspects related to human involvement and how we trust AI and how we go from try to sync AI, then implementing co-pilots and probably progressively to agents and further. I would like to go once again more to technical aspects. So at Comarch we invest when it comes to AI in network operations. We invest in two areas. One is of course autonomous networks. So we with agents and with other AI tools, we support like this closed loop approach. It was mentioned by Kenan in a moment, like from detection to decision, execution and validation step. We support these steps with AI, and we think that it will lead to some kind of dark NOC, which means like fully automated networks in the future. And the second part of our work is like when it comes to how long we do it is more mature. It is digital twin. And here we started with this predictive maintenance, anomaly detection, some issues forecasting, like I think 5 years ago, implemented in Japan. And they today, I think they claim, according to TMF standards, already mentioned, like 3.5 in their autonomy. But what is important in implementation of digital twin? So first, we need to have very exact data about the network. So we have to have multi-layer, multi-vendor, multi-domain network inventory. And then we see that the full digital picture of your network. But we have to do more to make this digital twin alive. And this is where we see AI and where we started heavily working on the scientific project even. Because it is a quite tricky case to simulate the traffic on the network, on this digital mirror of the network. You need to also implement all protocols. And they differ by, of course, by domains, but they differ also by the vendors. And so this is not easy case. And here we see that AI, which is trained, like this neural networks train on the real traffic, on the data, we can train that network and then, using that configuration, verify how it will behave in context of the simulation of changes of the network or issues on the network. So this is where really the AI can help, because without AI it is almost impossible. Without good data it is also impossible. But there's also other element, because we thought about this reliability and how we ensure that everything we have with AI is valid. I would like to touch one additional case, which is auto discovery. It helped a lot implement network inventory for many operators. I think without that, it is not easy to succeed in this kind of the project. But it is also very important in context of this validation step. When we introduce some automated changes to the network, then we can validate how these changes were implemented on the network, and also with this auto discovery it is possible. So we have to rather think when implementing for the network AI use cases, not about this AI first domains, but rather data first domains.
I see. Very clear. I have so many questions in this. I work in standards, but we have time when we have to go through the speakers. And I go back to David, and also on the same line of questioning on the concrete kind of very short-term reliable implementation. Looking ahead in the next maybe year or like 12 months, like immediate, what is the single most critical factor for operators to successfully move from AI experimentation to industrial scale value?
Okay, on this there is, can answer. There is two facts which are AI really specifics and two others which are not at all AI specifics. So what is really AI specifics is everything which is linked to the data pipeline, because to feed your AI you need to have trusted pipeline. When you run a POC, you are in control, proof of concept, you are in control environment, you know where are the data, you get a commitment to get available data, you have the correct label, and everything is in place. When you move to operational conditions, then you get troubles if the pipeline is not set correctly, because your data cannot have the accurate refreshment, you can have change in fields, etc., which makes your use case completely obsolete as soon as you implement it. So you need to have really these pipelines in place. The second thing, which is really AI related, is really to have MLOps, to be sure that you are able to constantly improve your models, to retrain them, to monitor them, to enrich them as well. So you cannot handle this AI project as you're doing with IT, where you have releases. You have really to have people in place, and here probably you have to trust into to invest into an AI fabric which is able to support you in doing this process. Then you have other areas which are not AI related, which is really related to innovation. One thing is to get, it's obvious, but to get the support of your business owners, because if you have an innovation entity which is doing a lot of things without business owners, with people really interested, then you are sure that your POC are going not to fail and not going to be into production. And here you have really two areas today. The first area is, as I mentioned, the area linked to efficiency, where you get really return and really good support from operational people, as they're going to do the efforts and support the transformation. On the sales side, if you were willing to innovate on sales side, you get always the same issue with putting into the market an innovation, that it's often colliding with other objectives, which are objective of bringing revenues in a shorter term. And this is where you have to do choices between your sales objectives and your products, let's say your standard products, and the innovation products, where you put additional effort for short-term returns. But this is not AI specifics. And then the last thing, which is also very common and a little bit more specific to AI, is governance, because you have to monitor everything because you have a lot of expectation around AI. You have to put in a lot of hype. This was the name of the session. You have to manage the expectation toward your management, to put the appropriate governance to make sure that expectations are set right, to have the right KPIs as well. Plus, there is something which is specific to AI, which is ethics, because as opposed to standard IT, you have issues in the outcome and the results of what AI can bring. So you have to monitor this, which is a little bit specific to these projects.
Thank you very much. Great for examples with different segmentation on them. So my last two questions actually for the panel is about agentic AI and AI agents. One is going to be for public sector perspective, and the other one is from the network operations and automation perspective. So I'll start with you, Yasmin. As we deploy AI agents and automate the system in critical public infrastructure, how do you handle the governance aspect? Like, what are the risks that we need to manage in this aspect?
When we deploy AI in the public sector and specifically in the critical and public infrastructure, I believe the starting point should always be the why. A recent study states that 50% of the executives don't seem to find like the investment, the ROI over the AI deployments investment, and that's not because like AI doesn't work, of course. It's because sometimes, and in some cases, the purpose is not clearly defined. And like here, the governance becomes like very simple. We have to define the mission, the why behind the system. We have to protect the system. We have to have a clear data, secure data flows, a clear human oversight, and then deliver the public impact. And like I see in the Middle East, we are prioritizing the innovation over structure and governance. Like Europe, for example, or maybe outside, they're prioritizing the structure and governance over the innovation, especially when it comes, for example, AI or agentic AI. And this is, I think, where telcos, industry leaders, hyperscalers, and the strategic partners for the public sector entities have to work and co-design together operational models and the data models that will create a national AI reliable at scale.
Great. And maybe on the same line of agentic AI, but from like a NOC or SOC, like Network Operations Center or Security Operations Center, we hear a lot about this agentic AI deployments. And can you share how this differ from traditional automation? And what are the benefits actually that you're seeing in this area?
So maybe the simplest way to describe it, the automation is like controlled by fixed rule. So every time you have the incident, you will have the same action every time. So this is just rule-based. While in agentic AI agents, or there is a smart agent which is think, plan, and then execute. So this agent, it will be developed to be kind of experts. So you will have agent for performance management, agent to optimize the RAN network or whatever. So there is like what we are seeing, like most of the organization now, they will start creating an innovation team, which is just building, and we already doing this, just building a specified agent, an expert agent in different domain. And on top of this, there is like a layer of, let's call it supervised agent, which should orchestrate all of these agents together and all the output of these agents. And this one, this layer, it's mainly responsible of reasoning and select what the actions need to be taken, which agent and which tool need to be called. Some of the tools could be MLOps, machine learning models. Some of them, it could be an agent expert in a specific documentation and reading from Huawei documentation, for example. So like what like our vision is now it's going to be an agent openness, and we will see maybe later a standards of agent to agent integrated. So you can integrate agent from Huawei with agent from Nokia, or agent with Mycom, and with supervised like agent, which is orchestrate all of these things together, and even as operator as well, like they can make agent for human resources, agent for the other. So that's what's agent, what exactly agentic AI is different from the automation.
Super interesting. I mean, I also have a question, but maybe I think now we can if you have any question from the audience, I think we still have a few minutes as time, so we can have 1 or 2 questions if there's any. I'm looking. Yes, we have one here, please. Can we have a mic here, please? Can we have a mic here? Mic.
It's coming.
Handheld mic. Yes, it's coming.
Hello. My question is to Dimitris. We are seeing right now, in terms of the adoption of the AI technology, we're seeing 2 approaches with CSPs around the world. Some are focused top-down on specific use cases, and they try to then engineer it in a vertical way, top-down, defining objectives, KPIs at the use case, and then going all the way down to enforce that use case. And then they'll expand in this way, use case after use case. And some others, having something very interesting, one of our largest customers have done something called an AI kitchen. So they're building like an AI factory, and they want to disseminate the AI tools and say, let the people experiment everywhere, and let's see what comes out of it, because it's through experimentation that things will emerge, the right ideas, and we will see where we can get value. Which approach are you favoring? One of these 2 approaches, or is there a third way? What do you think the most effective way to go, in adopting AI? Thank you.
I will tell you, thank you for the question. I will tell you what we thought was the best approach for us. There are a number of limitations with data that we have because we are heavily regulated. We take data protection very seriously, and there are a lot of obstacles in putting our data on the cloud. And many of the vendors and the use cases that they were providing were on the cloud. So what we decided is that we are going to build our own factory. We're going to build our own factory, which we did in the course of 2025. And that is the basis for developing use cases and agents that are requiring PII to be used for the right results to emerge. We are working in parallel with vendors, either existing vendors or parties that we are not cooperating yet with, to have other cases that are not requiring data that are sensitive. So for us, developing the factory was fundamental to be able to drive our own skills, to drive our own IP, and use it for the sensitive data. I know that others have done in a different way, but again, there was no option for us to go one way or another only. Both factory and third-party use cases and agents for certain use cases.
Very interesting. If we don't have other questions, maybe I'll try to combine all my questions in one to anyone of the panel who want to take it. So many of you mentioned standards between different interfaces. Many of you mentioned governance as well. When we talk about AI beyond the hype, we have standards, we have governance, and we have regulations. Which of the 3 you're thinking we're doing a good job and which we need more work? So are we under-regulated with AI or are we over-regulated? In terms of standards, do we need to standardize more? There's a transition gap, or there's more, let's leave it to the market and see how it works? Also same with governance. Are we okay with what we're doing, the speed, the development of AI governance right now, or do we need to do more? So you can pick and choose any of these or the relationship between them. So governance, standards, and regulation. How are we doing in terms of AI and AI hype? Any of you would like to take this one?
I can start with, the standard is very bad on AI. Yeah, you see everyone is doing their own APIs, their own way of agents. There is no standardization yet that it's controlling all of this together. So I think the standard is good. I think we are better in the governance overall, but the standard is still not up to the expectation. Yeah.
Okay. Any other views on governance, regulation, standards?
I would say the governance is very important, and especially for us that we deal with everyone's personal data. When it comes to aligning the governance with the regulation, try always to do our best. We do recognize that in a technology that is so new and so impactful, probably we are going to over-engineer the regulation or the governance initially until we see the impact that it has and how it can be used in the right way. But I believe it is, for now, it's necessary, even though it is more over-engineered.
I see. Clear. Yeah.
I think that it's difficult to comment on regulation because regulation doesn't come from us. It comes from, let's say,
The regulators.
the common. So I think governance is still something on which we have our capabilities. So it's quite very important to keep governance on all AI projects. And so this is something which is, I think we have still efforts to do to make it real and more mature.
I see. I see.
I think like all of that are important because this is technology, so it will evolve exponentially, and we are on the hype, so it means that there is more expectations that technology can deliver, and then there will be, of course, more value than we can notice. In fact, when we are on a hype, we are testing, we are verifying, we are preparing ourselves, we are building the solid data for that, which is a crucial part. So I think it will evolve in all aspects, and we will see more and more output in all areas. And this is valid for the technology. Like, you know, after the first flight by brothers, right? Like the first commercial flight over the Atlantic was like 3 years later, yeah? So you know how the technology can be fast.
Of course. Yasmin, do you want to say something about the
Because our time is up, I'm just going to leave like by one message, bringing the public sector perspective. I think the ROI of AI in government, the real ROI is public trust, and that we earn through defining the mission, protecting the data, and designing from the beginning for real impact through strategic partnerships, public sector collaborations, and proper governance as well.
Great. Best ending for the panel. Thank you very much, and thanks for everyone. Thank you very much.
Panelists, thank you so much. We're just going to have a picture right there, center stage.